I see myself as a product of the 60s and got involved in the early environmental stuff when I was about 19 or 20. So I helped put on some of the first Earth Day celebrations in LA back around 70 or so, 70, 71. And in that context, started meeting people that were actually super aware and super been doing it their whole life. Started studying, the first course I took was, let's say, in biodynamic farming, which is spiritual farming of Rudolf Steiner. And it really opened my eyes because it was so different than what they were proselytizing at that point. It was the beginning of the Green Revolution, and chemicals and man, technology was going to save the planet. And I realized that I needed to become responsible and become a man, and Hawaii seemed like the place to do it. It just didn't seem logical to go to try to be a corn farmer in Nebraska. So by 72, 73, I started realizing I had to have my own farm. I had to take responsibility. So I moved through, abandoned farms, helped get it together, then I was kicked out because it was too nice. And so we did that a few times and eventually ended up here on this hill in Honau now with my own Christmas berry jungle, and slowly replaced that with foods and stuff like that. Hold your head high. My influence was really John Hamaker and the influence of trace elements and to natural growing processes. And then realizing that we were swinging into an environmental catastrophe, I realized that it wasn't going to save the whole world, so it would be nice to save 11 acres or 10 acres. The two sides of it were both spiritual, were biodynamics, Rudolf Steiner. Fukuoka was basically the godfather, the grandfather of a microbial revolution, and basically utilizing a lot of different people. Albert Howard, who was the original organic guy back in India, talked about a lot about composting and stuff like that. So I just started to try to work with that. And that led to, obviously, a real understanding of the insidious nature of pesticides technology on the farm and industrializing farming. So I became a real strong advocate against pesticides in the 70s. And I was a real student of that and realized that all wealth comes from the soil. And through Acres USA, a guy named Charles Walters wrote a book called Unforgiven, where it really explains how we got through economic calamity by just paying farmers more money. But this only worked when we had farmers. Let's just look at Hawaii, the state of Hawaii. 1.2 million people live here in Hawaii?
State, right.
About that? To have a real economy here, 1 out of 8 people need to be growing food, creating wealth. Real wealth comes from the soil. So when we look at Hawaii, if we had 150,000 people in Hawaii growing food, we could have economic stability.
Right.
The money would flow. Every dollar earned by a local farmer could create $5 to $10 in the local economy. So the reality is food security is the big word. Food security is growing it in an industrial kind of situation with military, following that food back with guns, giving you the food. That's food security. Food sovereignty is you've got a plot of land in your backyard and you've got food. That's sovereignty. So they've sold us on food security. A lot of really cool people say, we need food security. Food security doesn't mean you're sovereign.
Watch
that
the terminology, people.
Yeah,
Listen
watch
to
it.
the terms.
Do not talk about food security. Food security is a militaristic, industrial process. It isn't about large systems. It's not about 50,000 acres farms. It's about, and this is how I used to relate papayas to people back about 30 years ago when I was like slammed. I said, we don't need big orchards. And this is the Thailand model. Actually, when I was in Thailand, I saw this. We don't need big 100-acre papaya groves. We need every farmer growing 100 trees. You have to know how to feed yourself. You got to know how to heal yourself. You got to know how to entertain yourself. And it all comes from there. And let the downloads begin, Let the consciousness of this planet save us. Have faith in God. Have faith in the Queen of the Forest. A system on this planet that is connected to spirit. We live on this incredible realm that is also abundant. And everybody has access to energy because everybody's got sun. When I talk about it, I really think 1 in 8 farmers would save this planet, right? And I have to have faith that it's going to come back. We're going to bring it back together, 1 tray of microgreens at a time, basically.
Yes, John. Yes, John.